My name is Roberta Barker, and I'm the coordinator for Section 3 of the Foundation Year program, the Renaissance and the Restoration. And the Renaissance, which means literally rebirth, is a period that's often associated with brave new worlds, with radical change. But it's also a period that looks backwards and builds on what's come before. So it's building on classical, ancient philosophy, art, literature that's being rediscovered in this period. But it's also building on the ideas and the institutions that emerged in the Middle Ages. So you're going to be very well set up to understand the Renaissance from where you've been before in the Foundation Year program. We're going to see how those changes and those lookings back played out in art, for instance, in the art of Michelangelo, of Botticelli, of Leonardo da Vinci, in bright color. We're going to see the work of someone like Niccolo Machiavelli and how he looked back to classical ideas of politics, but in the process put forward propositions about how a ruler should act that really shocked a lot of Europe. And speaking of shocking a lot of Europe, we're going to look at the writings of Martin Luther, whose critique of the established Roman Catholic Church and whose proposals about how Christianity could go back to its early roots shook the foundations of what religion looked like in Europe. And you're then going to have the chance to see how those ideas played out in all kinds of avenues, not only of thought, but of everyday life. So, for example, we're going to see how they shaped notions of gender and how men and women could relate to power. We're going to see how that plays out in, for example, the reign of Queen Elizabeth I of England, the writings of the Spanish theologian Saint Teresa of Avila, but also in public entertainments like the plays of William Shakespeare. And we're going to look at the idea of new worlds, both the kinds of new natural worlds that are being found in this period, for instance, by Galileo in his telescope, but also in the encounters between Europeans and the indigenous peoples of the Americas, both of whom look extremely new to each other. And we're going to consider different perspectives on those encounters, for example, from First Nations elders, but also from French philosophers and lawyers. So it's going to be largely about this question of different perspectives, different ways of looking at these huge changes that are taking place in the world. And we're still very much a part of these thrilling and sometimes frightening changes that began in the Renaissance. So it's that really excites me about sharing this section with you, this opportunity to see a process of transformation beginning that we're still living through today.